Welcome back.
Welcome
back, riders.
Welcome.
Husky Radio.
Husky Radio.
Nights.
Scott, fresh off WWE Summer Jam Slam.
Oh yeah, terrible pay-per-view, worst one of the year. Great match with John Cena and AJ Styles. Everyone, check it out. 4 stars.
No.
It was an amazing match.
Really?
It was.
I heard it
good.
was.
Really?
Anything with
Forget
John Cena
that.
is automatically.
Welcome
4 stars.
back to Husky Radio. We
Welcome.
are filming. You can probably hear the crickets. You can
It's
see the
night
stars
time.
out. We're going to get moths in here pretty soon
Oh,
because
yes.
we are recording at night.
Things are gonna get risque.
I freaking love moths.
What the hell was that?
That was weird.
What was the,
Took a dark turn very quickly.
Uncomfortable with that.
It was. It wasn't even like annoying
No.
or awkward. It was just
It wasn't
uncomfortable.
gross. It was like, what?
No.
Why would a
Why?
person love moths?
I love moths.
I guess I assume anyone who really loves any type of bug is a serial killer of some
I
sort.
think most
Well,
likely.
what
Most
What can you
likely.
do?
I love beetles.
The Beatles or
No,
Beatles?
Beatles. B-E-E.
Yeah. Oh wow, you love
Bee.
beetles.
Wow.
Yes, beetles.
Beatles. Mm-hmm.
8 days a week, I'm obsessed with beetles.
Oh, but tis. Awful. Today, we are coming at you talking about abduction. We are talking about No
Not-
Man's Sky. Not abduction,
Not
but
abduction?
abduction.
Abduction.
We've got 2 questions for our panel. What do you want
2.
to love but can't love, and who is the greatest villain of all time?
Tyler.
It is me.
Yes,
it is me.
that's my answer.
Greatest movie villain. Let's clarify.
Yeah,
Greatest
very-
movie villain.
we're
so,
doing
so I
movies
can't count
this
there.
time.
Sorry.
Cannot. Well, my home movies.
Okay. I love moths.
My home movies of Tyler.
Let's start talking about child abduction.
Start talking about. Abduction.
Oh
the
wait,
new-
hold on. We're joined by Sean again.
Sean is here.
Twice in a lifetime.
I'm
people.
back, people, for the probably last time in a long time, unfortunately.
Oh, if
Jeez.
only.
Oh,
if only. There goes my dog.
Dogs.
So someone is here.
My dog is here. Don't listen to this, please, Celia.
No, Cyan, the makers of Mist, Riven, and
Exile.
Exile,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the rest of the series that not very many people
and
play.
Mist the board game.
And Missed the board
Missed
game.
the board
yeah,
game.
Most
The
important.
only version I've played, the only format, missed the board game.
Was
has
that-
released their newest game,
Is that the one we
Obduction. Obduction. Obduction.
It's on Steam right now, and it is a new game by that developer. Not a sequel to Mist or good.
Brand new. Kyle, give us a little bit of background about Obduction.
So, Obduction is a game by the makers of Mist and Riven. Those
I said that.
games were made, the whole series was made, and at the end of it, I think my take on it is that Cyan was out of money, and they said, we want to make another game, but we don't have the resources. So they went to Kickstarter to start this campaign for the game Obduction.
Did
And
you
it got-
kickstart it?
I did not kickstart it.
I didn't. Yeah, I know
I
you guys
never-
haven't.
I
heard of
literally
it.
had not heard of it until 2 days ago when
I
Kyle
thi-
was like, guys, Abduction comes
Yeah.
out.
I heard
It
about it,
was-
yesterday.
yep, that
when
was me,
Scott
too.
texted me abduction. I thought he misspelled abduction
Yep.
because
Yep.
my phone, had the misspelled.
Yeah.
Have you guys
underlined.
ever kickstarted anything?
Yes. Very disappointing. Mighty number 9 Kickstart backer right here.
yeah. That's
So sad.
that's
Me, $150 in a game that I've played less than 10 minutes of.
oh,
I've
that's a
tried to
bummer.
kickstart the second season of Firefly with no avail.
How many times have you tried to kickstart the second season of Firefly? I feel like that's on there quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I've kickstarted 1 or 2 board games.
Nerd.
Yeah. And they were cool. It was nice to get them and played them a few times. But
Board games are huge on Kickstarter.
Did
They
you
are.
Absolutely huge.
you looked into Jordan Duran's new game?
How do you
We have.
have enough room to play them if they're so huge? Do you gotta get like a big table?
Huge.
Yeah, they are like huge.
These are your
board
starter
games.
pieces.
Oh,
large
okay,
table.
good.
Large
It's like
table.
Harry Potter, the chess match. Yeah, that's. The,
Oh yeah, it's
okay,
exactly
cool.
like that.
Cool, cool, cool.
So
Tell me more about Mist and Abduction.
Obduction is out. I can't say abduction. I just want to say abduction,
Obduction.
Ob.
Yeah.
but that it doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
Um,
the
How about
Kickstarter?
hey?
Oh,
Let's call it Bobduction.
Bobduction.
Abduction.
Love it.
There we go.
Love it.
Yeah, so Obduction on Kickstarter made, I think, this is pulling random numbers out of the air, but I believe it was 1.5 million is what they made on Kickstarter to kind of jumpstart their.
Wow.
Yeah, yep,
That's a number.
Sounds about right in the
that's a number.
ballpark.
You can fact check that, but I believe it was around 1.5 million that they made. And
Billion?
Million.
Trillion.
Yes, trillion.
We're just naming numbers now.
Yeah.
But they had some really cool things for good incentives in their Kickstarter that we'll get to.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I was really
today-
surprised by that. I learned about it in game, and I thought that was really cool. But so today, to break this
Yes.
down, I had played for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and Kyle came over today, and I let him play on his own save file on my computer because I am the only PC Master Race guy, I think, around.
I don't have a computer that can handle Abduction, so I had to play on Tyler's.
Yeah, it's pretty demanding. I was surprised for what it is. Pretty demanding, PC wise, and so I let Kyle play until he caught up to me, and then he and I played together.
Yes.
True co-op, I think, is really what it was.
Yeah,
One
we
of us
played
was
for-
sitting there.
Yeah, total, I guess, with when I came over to play my own, and then together we played a total of like 6 hours today.
About 6 hours, and I think we made it maybe a fourth of the way through the game.
Yeah, and it's awesome because we're not even like we want to keep playing at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point. Like it was hard to say, okay, we got to stop now.
Yeah, the basic premise is for you guys, is really you are abducted, and you're thrown into a world where some stuff has happened. People were there at one point, and you can't find anyone really, and it's a puzzle game. You have to figure out what's going on. You have to, in a sense, restart this city with very little guidance, and even the one guy who seems to be guiding you is a total jerk about it.
So
Yeah,
Kyle,
he's a tool.
He is a tool. He's
Yeah.
he's like, you should do this, and then when you can't figure out what's going on and you go back to him for help, he's like, I can't believe you haven't done this,
I
but
can't
he doesn't.
hold your hand. You got to figure it out.
Yeah,
does he
it's
sound
really
like
mean.
he's from Texas?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
this seems like it's a commentary on tutorials in games or modern games in general. If he's saying, I can't hold your hand.
It is. It is. It. There are no hints. There are no. At least the way it's set up on our particular game is that there's nothing guiding you.
And the controls are very simple.
Oh
to
yeah.
this game. It's moving and pointing and clicking.
That's it.
And it shows you what
No
you
jumping.
can interact with, and you're thrown into this world, and you're just basically, all right, you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. And we were stuck on one thing for about 2 hours.
Oh yes, we were stuck for a very long time.
And
Yes,
when
The
we
title screen.
the title
the
screen.
title screen.
How do you turn the game on?
Press start. Where's starts?
Driver error? I don't understand. Sound drivers not compatible. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
most
really
of-
tough part of the game.
Yeah, most of the puzzles have been fairly simple. The
We
things that
we
you
could see
figure
where we
out
needed to
easily.
go. We could see what we needed to do, but this particular one was a clue. It was a riddle. It truly was a riddle, and we were
went-
thinking like 5 steps ahead of where we needed to be. It was
We went down the wrong path.
total wrong path.
And we stuck to that wrong path, and then we went back to the beginning and saw that it was.
And we would not ask for directions.
we would not. We were like, okay, we were at the point where we've looked everywhere. We feel like we'd gone down all the paths that we thought we could go down. You know, should I look up a hint or something? We're like, no, we're not going to look up a hint. And then we finally saw the clue.
We find
that we
it.
needed.
It was right
It was
Yep.
right there the whole
right
time.
there the whole time. It really was. And the most fun thing for me is this was an experience that I had never had, was playing a game sitting next to someone playing the exact same game. It wasn't co-op, but it was a true teamwork.
And back when Mist and Riven were out, I was pretty little, and I played these
Yeah,
games
they're old. I mean-
with my mom. So I played this was like elementary school, middle school. But I played these games with my mom. and
Shout out to
so-
Janice.
Shout out to Janice.
What's her gamer tag?
gamer tag? Yeah.
Lead
If only.
Scrub Destroyer.
Yeah,
Scrub
that's it
Destroyer.
actually. Yeah, I think
04.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play with her. She's on desk. She's,
Oh, yeah, she's way higher level.
Yeah,
than,
she's
her
just-
light is crazy.
Oh yeah.
KD ratio is just out of the world. Out of this world. But yeah, I would play this game with her, and we'd sit next to each other and figure out this game. You know, figure out, okay, we have this puzzle. Oh, I think it's this. I think you figured out this way, and do it kind of that way. And very much like if you've ever done an escape room in real life.
That's what it felt like to me.
Escape rooms are like you have an hour to figure this out, or you lose. This is like, okay, you're put in this world with a bunch of puzzles, no time limit. But playing it with people has always been something I love to do. I would play Riven and Mist. Riven, actually, and Exile is the ones that I would play by myself sometimes. But I much more enjoyed it when I had someone else there to like talk about what was going on and experience the game while you played it.
So I guess that leads to my question: is would you prefer it to have been co-op in-game 2-player, or what kind of advantages, disadvantages that I brought to this game or any other games that really you've played where it's solo 1-player and you can't play with your friends unless they're like today, you guys were sitting in your room together.
Well, and we were one character.
Exactly.
You know, we are one character, and so I think any sort of puzzler would be terrible if you actually had 2 character avatars because
what about Portal 2?
That's true.
That's a wonderful
I think you've got a great point there. I think this game, let me say, this game would suck because it would be, did you pull that lever? Because I didn't pull that lever. Well, I haven't pulled that lever because I'm waiting over here to push this button.
So this sounds like the game equivalent of one of Kyle's Minecraft raids.
Most likely, that would be my guess.
Flipping random. Who flipped the switch?
That's it. Yeah.
Kanjis.
Yeah. No. So this particular game, be awful.
Yeah.
It'd be awful. But yeah, are there any games that you wish had co-op that don't?
Oh, like every modern game that comes out that isn't made by Nintendo, I guess.
Nintendo or is Halo, because
Yeah.
that's what I thought of. Like, I remember for some reason last week we were talking about Call of Duty off the podcast, and I thoroughly enjoyed that campaign. Multiplayer or online competitively, I never really played. I stuck to Halo, Destiny now, and stuff like that. But like the campaign, I thoroughly enjoyed, and because my upbringing on multiplayer had been Halo co-op, whether I was on the same screen playing split screen in the same room. I mean, it's combining what you guys did today, sharing the experience with the same person, but on different screens, obviously, and playing as your own characters. But always wished, I feel like games, for the most part for me, are kind of like what you had today, more fun when you experience them with other people. Like, I can't really think of a game where I enjoy playing it by myself more than I think I would playing with somebody else with me.
Yeah, my head immediately went to older games like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter, where
those are older.
Or
now.
Rayman.
well, I mean, I know, where I think there are 2 characters and yet you play solo. There's no co-op, and that you could develop a game like that could be really interesting. There are moments I'm thinking Jack and Daxter specifically, but I think this happens in one of the Ratchet and Clanks where you take control of Daxter for a little bit to do something, and he's the little orange kind of squirrel-looking guy.
Yes. What is he actually?
He's
Is he a squirrel?
No, he's not a squirrel.
He's an Otzel.
That's what it is.
He's an Otzel.
Good old Otzel.
And that was really cool. And then he actually had his own PSP spin-off game, but you take elements of that could be very cool. I think too. The Mario for the Wii U where you could all play.
Yes.
That was fun.
New Super Mario Bros.
New Super Mario Bros.
That's a great time.
And I think any of the Super Mario Brothers can be aided with.
Yeah. And they do
co-op.
that kind of similarly in Rayman. The new Rayman games, Legends and Origins, have that same sort of multiplayer where you're all running through the level together.
Right.
And it's a lot more fun than one person sitting there watching or you playing alone.
Well, is it different from? I mean, let's take Destiny for example, where you can play the story mode with multiple people, but it's still an individual story. Mm-hmm. It's not Guardians. It's always Guardian. Your light is talking to you. You're not hearing someone else's ghost. True. I mean, is that different?
I love Destiny. I love playing a lot of Destiny things with people. Playing Crucible with my friends.
It's more fun.
Fun. Obviously, I love the raids are my favorite thing about the game. Going in with 5 other friends and completing tasks together.
Yeah.
But as far as the story mode goes, something I learned after House of Wolves, basically, was if I played through the story mission with people in Destiny, it's too easy, and we just blast through the story mode. And the story mode, I've learned, is something that I like to enjoy a little bit more and savor and like complete on my own instead of just trying to like blast through a strike as fast as I can.
Well, and I'd interject there because I'd say at least the newest Halo 5, was on recent memory. When I played through that the first night it came out with 4 people, I mean, like the game knows how many people is playing and sends harder enemies that are harder to kill, more enemies, and make it more challenging. So if you have 4 people going down, it's significantly harder than it is. It's not like you're gonna breeze through it. So there's games that contrast what Destiny does as opposed to like some games like what Halo does today.
I think what it comes down to a lot for that is kind of if a game is designed with cooperation in mind, or if it's designed to be like a single player element. Like Destiny is something you're playing because you want to play the story, and it's about like that. You want that story. That's what you're focused on, and you want to feel like your character progressing through. So it's not as much fun when there's like 4 of us all doing our own story that are just destroying everything.
Yeah,
like 3 of us. Sorry, I don't want any comments.
I don't know Sonic very well, but Sonic I could imagine could be a very cool game with all the different paths if you had multiple characters on a screen.
If the camera could split.
If the camera was split.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like
Sega,
maybe
it
online.
couldn't. I remember playing Sega with Sonic.
Because Sonic 2, you can have your little brother control Tails.
Right.
And he just dies constantly.
He dies.
He's
got his helicopter tail, comes back in, tries to figure out where you are.
But when a game is like designed to be...
of course.
When a game is designed to be played cooperatively, and you have 2 people, I think that's more fun than a game that's designed to be single player and you have one person.
That has cool
like playing
options.
Toe Jam and Earl on the Sega.
Oh yeah.
Which Sean and I used to do that in college a lot.
Yeah.
That's a game that is designed for 2 people to beat. It's more fun with 2 people. It has a lot of like things that become almost frustrating because you have 2 people that make it more endearing. Like when one of you falls off you can be on different levels in that game at the same time. But you can't move forward until you're both on the highest level. So one of you could both be on level 20, and then one of you falls down 5 levels, and the other one just has to wait
until you get to
you get there.
Oh, that reminds me of Lost Vikings on the Super Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You, as a single player, control 3 different characters, and you make your way through. But there was a 2-player option for that, where you could both control all 3.
What?
And it got really confusing. Oh, it was awful.
Who's controlling who?
That
it was
sounds
awful.
Awful.
I can remember all the fights I had, and that would have been.
That almost sounds like it's more fun because of how awful.
Yeah, exactly. That one I'm gonna have to dig out and really see how that worked because it was bad.
Is that made by Blizzard?
I don't
I could be
remember.
crazy.
We'll
Somebody-
fact check that
I would
one.
use my phone.
We'll have
to
our
look it
fact
up,
checker
but I
get on that
can't.
one.
Yeah.
If anyone ever wants to sell me Lost Vikings 2, that would be amazing.
I used to have that. I could have given it to you, but
That
it's
one's
gone
really
now.
rare. That one's really
yeah,
rare.
whoops.
Let's
like,
find out.
Overall, like though, it sounds like you guys, when you were playing Obduction today, had almost as much fun with one of you just kind of hanging out and chilling, and both of you going along with it. Because, I mean, obviously it's a different game than Destiny, Halo. I mean, you're not trying to beat bad guys. You're trying to like think through it. You're trying to solve the puzzle, logically get through the steps of the game, and you had. Obviously, it sounds like way more fun with multiple people.
Goodness.
It's a great game to play with 2 people sitting side by side with one on the controls because the game isn't fun because you're moving and clicking. It's fun because you're figuring out the puzzles.
You're thinking, and the great thing about it was because I'd played it for about 2 hours alone, and he played it for about 2 hours alone. And while I was truly alone, but when he was playing it here, I was sitting in the background playing my new Game Boy Advance SP because I've never had one, and now I feel really cool because I have one. Brand new, just released. But I'm sitting in the back, and so I can kind of see what he's doing, and it took so much willpower not to say go that way. No, you got to push that. No, don't go that way. It was really tough, so I just buried my head in my own game and waited until he went, "What am I doing here? What am I doing?" And I said, "Oh, you're so close." That was the only thing I said. You're so close to something.
And I was like, just give me a couple more minutes.
And he figured it out.
And then I figured out what to do.
So then when we really joined co-op, it was It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
was
really
a co-op.
cool.
I mean, it wasn't the option wasn't available, but you guys were playing co-op.
It's like life. You just want to come together and figure things
Come
out
Yeah.
as a group. We want to build a community.
So true.
And that is
Now,
the most fun gaming. It's
the
like
game that might be the opposite
the most
of all
the
of
most
this.
isolating, lonely game.
The most isolating, lonely game I think I've ever played is No Man's Sky. Pretty new release. I don't know if any of our followers or subscribers have played it, but for those of you who haven't, you are an individual being of some sort who...
Do you know what you are? Can you see
No,
yourself?
you
Oh.
cannot see yourself. You cannot see your shadow.
No reflections?
There's no reflections,
Are you a
First person?
ghost?
which I think it is first person,
Well,
which
you-
I
I think
think
you'd be able to see yourself if it was
I
first
mean, if
person.
you're wearing clothes, you never know.
It's
Well, and
third
I-
person, but you're invisible.
third person invisible. It's actually second person. It's a second person video game.
Okay.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
just you have someone else describing the game.
What it is.
Yeah, what's that? All right, he's walking. He's
No,
walking
you are
out.
walking.
Yeah.
You are
are
walking.
You are walking.
Let's think. Choose your own adventure. You are walking. You are walking. You are walking. Do you want to turn left or right?
You turn
You
left.
turn left. It would be amazing. That's a game that needs to happen.
Yes.
So you wake up. Your ship has crashed on a planet, and the great thing about it is everything is algorithmically created. The planet that you land on
It's
or
like
you
no,
start on.
no work for the game designers. Just we don't even know
Here's
what's
an
in there.
algorithm.
Oh, that's a whole topic to itself. But essentially, yes, your first planet is your planet. You go around, you can discover it, you can do everything you want on that planet. You can rename the animals, you can rename the planet itself, you can rename the star system, and you start in your own star system. As you start to explore, you might start to find other star systems that others have discovered. However, you can't see these others. Even if when you scan the star system and it says, give me a hand is in your star system, we could go to the same space station and not see each other.
Even
So it's
though
a-
they said that was in the game,
So it's an online big community. So it sounds
but
like
there's no community. You
Right,
can't actually
but, like-
interact
Well,
with each other.
everyone's invisible, so what do you expect?
exactly.
You can't see
It's-
yourself, no one else.
And that's
Second person.
a lot of people are upset because there were things were alluded to, some things were promised, and a lot of that has not happened. Kyle, you were telling me today you read that people have been asking for refunds.
Yeah,
people are returning the game.
have been getting refunds
Steam
in the game.
Steam
so.
changed their policy on it, so you can return it no matter how long you've
Oh, yeah.
played. Now it's normally like a 2-hour, 3-hour limit on returns, but now you can just anytime.
Which sounds ridiculous to me.
Now, I'm not one who's been following it for it's been in production for about 5 years. I have not been following it for that long. I've been following it for about a year. And really, I started following solely because the band, 65 Seconds of Static, 65 Days of Static, excuse me. I've
Thank
liked.
God you corrected yourself.
Yeah,
Someone in the
I
comments
know.
would have been, did he say seconds of static?
Yes.
Our fact checker would have been all over that.
And now I'm gonna have to check myself because I do feel.
While
bad.
he looks it up.
But it's good music. It's stuff that I like to listen to that I'd heard. Yeah, 65 Days of Static. Good.
Okay,
It's stuff that I'd heard before, and I was like, oh, that's cool that they're doing music for this. How's that gonna work? And the music is algorithmically created as well. So as you do things, the music changes naturally. There's no moment where there's no music, which is really weird. You might be on a planet for you could be on a planet for 20 hours and hear this different loops.
just doing nothing on that planet. For
Pretty
20
much.
hours.
Pretty much.
So is there anybody else like NPCs, or is this
There
all
are
like
there
Obduction?
are a
monsters.
fair amount of NPCs, alien creatures, a couple different types of alien species.
Not all of which that were promised are actually in the game.
Correct. And that's really become the big theme about No Man's Sky is what people felt promised. They have not felt that those promises have been met.
Yeah, so from what I've read, like even the advertising that's still up on it on the Steam page, the
Oh, yeah.
trailers feature elements that
Are
aren't
not in the game.
actually in the game.
That's true. That is true. There's no denying that at all. Now, I've played probably 15 hours, and I've enjoyed it. It's very meditative. You go, you explore. You don't have to really worry about anything. There are, spaceship fights and things like that, but you can run away from them, or you can just let yourself die and respawn, and you'll be fine. You get your stuff back. I mean, there's no risk to playing the game.
Is there any goal?
Yeah, what's the end?
What's the end game?
Well, anyone who's played to the end game will know that there's not a whole lot of end game. But there are a couple of driving factors, and there are actually three, kind of from the get-go, and you do have a choice in which of these three you follow. You receive first a signal from this one being, and you can follow that.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. You can follow just the path to the center of the galaxy, just to see what's there. Or, third option, which is actually given to you by one of the NPCs, despite the fact that it should be obvious, is you can just explore. You can literally just explore. Those are your three options. It's very ambiguous about all of that means. But if anyone has read the spoilers to the ending, which I have, of course, because I know I'm probably never ever going to reach it.
Spoiler tag?
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I
it?
can just say it is lackluster at best.
All right.
Well,
But I will say No Man's Sky would be really cool to have a co-op option.
If there were like, this sounds like a game. First of all, I just want to say this game sounds like my worst nightmare of a video game.
I'm certain it is.
To be honest, I mean, it interests me as like something other people would play.
It's very artistic.
But
I mean, if you think about it,
for me to play it, like I said last week, that when I think of a game, I think of like limitations, a designed experience
Yep.
where they know what I'm going to do and what's not going to happen. Procedurally generated, infinite galaxy says to me,
pseudo infinite, but yeah.
says to me like, anything. There's no game to me. It's just hanging out like in a
It really
fake
is.
world.
I find it. I do love the music,
Yeah.
and I will most likely buy the soundtrack. Even though the soundtrack obviously can't match exactly the gameplay experience.
The CD is actually procedurally generated as well.
But what I look at it and I go, okay, 15 developers created this, and that's impressive. Now, the algorithm that creates the procedurally generated worlds, there's a gray area on whether or not it's stolen or they've been using it legally.
Interesting.
It was
where?
created by a Swedish I'm going to mess this up, so please don't fact check
us here.
Don't fact check this.
A Swedish scientist, and they approached him about using it, never heard back, used it, and here we are. And there are rumors that he and his team may sue. There are rumors that there are cease and desist letters out there. We don't really know. There are a lot of rumors. But for a $60 game, I don't feel cheated. But I'm easy to please when it comes to this kind of game, and I'll admit that.
I think that while, like I said, I'm not really that interested in playing this game or purchasing it, I think it would be really interesting and entertaining if you could actually meet other people.
I would
in
love
the game.
that because
if there were
it's
like
so large.
if it was sort of like Journey, where there's like that really
Exactly.
small chance that you're gonna run into someone and you're like, holy crap, another person, and like that would be an exciting.
And I
little
think that's
element in
all
it.
people want.
Yeah.
I truly believe that's all people want. It's there are a few that I've posts that I've read online where people say, I just want to be able to log in with my friend and go explore the galaxy. Like, I get that.
They want the co-op.
But that was never promised. Some
Well,
sort of depending on what you look at.
What I have read, and one of the reasons why I think people are upset, is that the creator is not really addressing anybody's
Oh, he's not
complaints.
addressing it at all.
But I've read a post where somebody asked him, like, outright about like things, if they're still in there, if it's possible to meet other people, and he basically lied and said, like, wow, can't believe people are already seeing each other on the first day of launch.
Well, and that's the thing is they did.
But they're not.
These
can't
these
believe
two
it 'cause
players
it's not possible.
they didn't see each other, but
No.
they saw that they were both in the same system,
they-
and that alone is pretty surprising when you have like 18 quadrillion possible star systems.
Yeah, 'cause-
But no, it was and since then, nothing has been said. It's been silent. It's been the
Very
opposite
silent
of Bungie,
Yeah.
is what I call it.
More
the anti-Bungie.
than Bungie.
yeah, they've gone the Niantic route. Only they're not even giving you an R reply to your help email.
Yeah, no, it's upsetting, and maybe It's because, these 15 developers are pulling their hair out trying to figure out how to make everyone happy. And sometimes it can be better not to say anything. But you know what? When we live in a world that is so vocal,
Yes.
and you can immediately reach millions of people with one tweet, just say what's going on.
Right?
It's that easy. I would love to know what's going on. I'm going to keep playing it after I beat Obduction. But I'm going to keep playing it. I enjoy it. It's a fun game. And, if I've had a long day, rough day, it's nice to just sit down and it's meditative. It's enjoyable.
They should have merged this game with Minecraft. So each little
It's
mini world
very
you could
similar.
go to, you could build your own area, and so you could go visit and build and visit people's.
Yeah, that was
If
promised.
If there was some
Some
sort
of that was promised too.
customization of the
Yeah.
planet, like if you could become the ruler of
Base-
the planet.
Base building was mentioned in some early development, and I think that's it's been really interesting to see. There was a really great Reddit post that got removed very quickly because the guy received like death threats because of it. I mean, it was crap, but he basically he spent a lot of time on this. Every promise or every possibility that was mentioned, and maybe a tenth of that stuff made it into the final game over 5 years. Now, I get it. Developments change. Projects change.
Budgets change.
But you have to be upfront about it
Yeah.
in this world.
Don't use your advertising.
It's gonna have this.
It's
It's
not
gonna
in
have
there.
this.
Yeah.
It's gonna have this. And then here it is, and it doesn't have any of that. You're gonna run into people being angry. And I think that the outrage is completely justified. Me personally, I enjoy the game for what it is, but I wasn't.
But you weren't
again,
following it
I wasn't following it
forever,
for 5
so
years.
You're not like
having all this
expectations,
hype
yeah.
built up. For me, there was no hype train other than, hey, that looks kind of cool, and I like the music. That was it.
Plus, you're not getting a return, so you might as
Well,
well
and-
just like you got it on PS4.
And also, like, I feel like you kind of said it there. Like, part of the rumors may or may not have even mentioned the co-op aspect of it, but I feel like that.
If there's confusion about it.
Well, I mean, I feel like that would
And you
almost
could at least just be like, "There's no co-op."
right, but that almost makes the game for me. Like, if I'm thinking like this world, because I'm with you. Like, a free roam world. Like, I just had to look it up because I forgot the name of it, but I didn't buy it. But like the concept of Watch Dogs, like this game where you can roam, not so much the game itself, but where you have an open world to just explore, like an open universe to just explore. I feel like that's like a game that's geared for me. Like, I would eat that up. Now, honestly, obviously on PS4, so I don't know if I could play this.
No, you'd have to get it on PC, which you obviously don't.
I don't
one
have
that.
that.
could do.
I don't have that either.
Watch
So
Dogs
like,
is so bad.
right, and that's what I
Are
heard.
we branching to Watch Dogs?
That's what I
Watch Dogs
heard.
is so bad.
That's an old hate train. We're on a new.
Oh no,
hate
I get
train.
it. I get it.
I got that, but like the world, like I was
No.
drawn to it because
Yes,
of the open world, like Chicago.
exactly.
And I'm like, I love Chicago. So like any game,
Live
where,
there. Just walk
Exactly.
around.
Just
I
you
do.
live there.
I do. But like some days I don't
That's
want to
real life
walk
for you.
outside.
Go
I
to
just
the
wanna,
bean in person.
Oh no, and it is. There are elements when I'm walking around in No Man's Sky, and I think back to Skyrim. I
Yeah,
think
exact-
back
or
to
like that, like
things like
exactly.
that, and I enjoy it. But there's a goal in Skyrim. There's no goal in this, and I have absolutely zero desire to finish the game ever. I want to play it. I want to continue playing it, but I have no desire to follow a quest line. I just want to keep going and keep exploring. And I'll eventually run into someone. I haven't run into anyone's planet yet or anyone's star system, which has been kind of cool. And I think I've gone to maybe 8 different star systems. I'm kind of a completionist as much as you can be in this game, and then I want to discover all the beings and all of that.
What's the travel time to these star systems?
It is pseudo real time. Like if you get a counter, and it's so if you're from one planet to another, it'll say that you're going so many units in speed, and it'll say 8 minutes.
Immortal? Or what? I mean, I'm just
Like when
curious.
you die,
There's-
how do you
when
respawn?
you-
Do you have a ghost?
When you die,
What is the
you get a
respawn
really
mechanic?
poignant quote about the infinite or uninfinite finality of death, and then you just kind of wake up. It's now when I died the first time, I saw something really interesting. I died.
Life flash before your eyes.
No, it said Generation 1. And I haven't seen anything similar,
Kind of a
but I'm
Rogue
trying to
Legacy
remember.
vibe.
I'm not sure I've died a second time.
Oh,
No,
look
it's
at me.
it's not
My
not
KD ratio.
it's not a dangerous game. It's survival.
Unless you're the guys who made it, then it's very dangerous for your career.
So I'd be interested to see what everyone else has to say about No Man's Sky. It'll be very interesting to see how things change in the future. I can't.
I hope it bounces back.
I hope it
makes
does
some
too.
Promises.
The
It's
concept
I hope it
sounds
does
great,
too.
Like I said,
It's
I just
interesting. It's novel. I was skeptical from it about the first time I heard of it because how many truly interesting things can you make with just random generation?
After you've seen a few systems, you're going, okay, I see the recycled bits now. I see the parts of creatures that I've seen before. And a lot of the NPCs say a lot of the same stuff. But you know what? Skyrim's like that
Exactly.
too.
And
How
I
many
mean, I
times
think
you
that's
run
what
a guy, I got shot, arrow in the knee.
when you drew that similarity, I was like, exactly. Like in that game, there's a huge world. I mean, obviously it's not infinite, but like it's almost endless. I know Kyle loves that game to death, and I mean I enjoyed it a lot too. But I feel like for me, also that game, which was I would have preferred just because of how my gaming style is, like someone else that I could go along in this
Oh,
with.
Skyrim would be really cool co-op.
Ooh, that goes into
like
a
Elder
later
Scrolls
topic
Online?
that I disagree with.
Well, all right, and I didn't get into it Elder Scrolls or something.
I know the next topic.
And I don't want to.
Next topic.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Enough about
too
No
much,
Man's
but, like,
Sky.
Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah, let's move on. So this
Jesus.
a question was posed within our group chat, and I think it'd be a really good question to post to the table. What is a gaming related thing? Gaming related subject. It doesn't have to be a game individual. It could be a series. It could be a
or
genre.
something.
Something gaming that you want to love, that you feel like this is right up my alley. I should enjoy this. This is perfect for me. But then when you actually get your hands on it, or you try it out, or every time you give it a shot, you just can't love it. There's something holding you back.
And that we just talked about Skyrim. This is a perfect segue. My story, my example, is because Skyrim is a game that I love, and I played so much, and we're gonna get the remaster here soon. And I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to play it, because I'm a sucker, and I can't just get out my 360 and play it. No, I got to buy it on the Xbox One.
I'm right there with you. I've bought the game twice, and I bought all 3 packs of DLC twice.
Wow.
You know what?
Yeah.
I want to judge you guys, but I own every NES Mega Man game, like 8 forms.
So I'm right there
it's
with you,
fine.
Kyle. Continue.
So anyway, Skyrim, played it by myself forever, loved it by myself, thought it was great. Was always thinking, man, it'd be cool to play with someone else, to bring, maybe one person in or something to do things with. And then Elder Scrolls Online came out for console.
Woo!
And I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome because I love Elder Scrolls. And I got it, and I played it, and it was something that I wanted to love, but I could not because of the MMO style of the game just was completely different than what I experienced with Skyrim. The quest, the feel, the world felt the same. I felt like I was in, Tamriel or whatever.
What was it about the quest? Can you be specific? Because I have not played it, so I'm wondering how it compares to other MMOs.
I'd go across on a path, and there would be a dude on the side of the road, and I would talk to him, and he'd say, "Oh man, I want to go kill this thing that killed my son or something." Like there's a dragon over there, not a dragon, but a beast over
wolf
there that he stole my crap, and I need it back, or whatever. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go kill it." So I run over to where he tells me to go, and there's 3 other dudes shooting arrows at this thing. They kill it. I get the talon or whatever I needed to get, or something to signify that I killed it. And I bring it back to the dude, and he's like, "Great job, you did it."
So it was a public event.
Yeah, so it was a public event.
But
and I was
the
like,
issue seems to be that, unlike Destiny, where it sort of recognizes there's multiple guardians in the world when you're doing public events, this one's still treating you as if you're the lone hero of the world.
I was the
Interesting.
lone hero helping this dude out, and yet there was a crowd of people shooting this thing that respawns every 5 minutes or something to do this quest. And so it was just like, this is not what I want in this game. And then I would go into an ancient tomb, and go in, and I'd have to go kill the dude down there. It was part of a big quest, and there's just people running past me all the time, and I'm like, people running out because they had just killed the boss skeleton dude down there, and so it's just like, no, I don't want, get out of my game. If I could just load it up.
Breaking
with
your
nobody.
immersion at this point.
Yeah, it was just breaking my immersion, and so it was like, all right, well, maybe this isn't the game for me.
Totally.
So
it reminds me. Did you played Dragon's Dogma? Didn't you, Scott?
No.
No. I thought you played through Dragon's Dogma.
Didn't play Dragon's Dogma.
I'm not even 100% positive what Dragon's Dogma is.
It's basically Capcom's version of Skyrim.
Oh, okay. I know
But
what
you
you're
can,
talking about then.
but you can like jump and climb on things, and
I've watched one of my roommates play part of it once.
Okay, well, it reminded me
Basically
there were
beat
public
it.
events in that once you finish the game where you're the only one. So there's a giant Ur dragon, and you go and do as much damage as you can, and then you die. But everyone else that's playing the game that you can't see is also fighting the same dragon. And gradually, if you got in any hits, you would get a ton of XP once someone in the world finally killed it. But that sounds very much like the MMO experience for Elder Scrolls. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
MMOs are not my thing either.
And it was cool because I had some other friends that played it, some other friends in Husky Raid that played it, and I jumped on with Will Superstar Top once, and we played one little thing together, and that was okay. But there were still other people around, and I realized the only thing I liked about the game was all the different emotes, and so I would stand in a cave, and just play my flute next to a dead body or something.
Ruin other people's immersion.
Yeah, ruin other people's immersion, and that's that's the enjoyment I got out of it. And I said, well, this isn't enough for me, so I took it back. And it was hard to take back because I wanted to love it. I really did, but
Well,
it didn't work out.
speaking of that, of MMORPGs and not loving them even though you want to, let's just remove the MMO from the word. And we'll throw a J on there.
A JRPG?
Yeah.
No.
What is a JRPG?
Japanese.
Japanese RPG.
There it is.
Also, you can differentiate them with
can.
Console RPG or PC RPG. Is the way some people go with it.
So Scott, what is your problem with JRPGs?
I
Why
wish
do you
I
want to
knew.
love them?
I want to love them because whenever I read about one or the story of them or see the cutscenes and even just see the way other people love them, I'm like, man, that sounds cool. I'm really into this. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to become Cloud Strive. It's going to be awesome. And then I'm just snoozing. I start it up and I'm just like, oh, it's so much to read. So much to just, so much clicking. I don't know where to go. I'm so bored. I don't know what it is. Every JRPG, I start it with enthusiasm, it's gonna be the one. This is the one. I'm gonna love it.
New life goal is find you a JRPG
Look,
that you
no,
love.
there's one exception, and
Is
that's
it-
Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Chrono Trigger is amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's perfect to me. I don't know why that one gets through. Probably because it has time travel, and probably because I named my time travel vehicle the DeLorean.
I was gonna suggest Ni no Kuni, but I don't know if that counts as a JRPG.
Ni no Kuni, which one is that? It's really familiar sounding name.
It's a JRPG with a
Yeah.
mixture of kind of Pokemon.
Okay.
It's actually really cool.
Okay. Is it
You're
cell shaded looking? Is
kind
it
of.
kind of new and it looks sort of
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli-y?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the same artists.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. That
See,
one does look really cool.
I think that
I
one
almost
might
bought
be the
it to play it
one.
once, but I was like,
That
I'm gonna
might
play
be
it
the
for 4
one.
hours and hate it.
Well, it's hard because you've already found your one true love video game, Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
With JRPGs.
Yeah.
And everyone
That's gonna
else
be tough.
doesn't stand
It's
out.
very-
That's a
I
high
think,
bar.
I think that's part of the problem. Is that was one of the first ones I played when I was like, I'm gonna finally get into JRPGs. I hopped into Chrono Trigger, and then every other Super Nintendo is the home of the classic JRPG. Basically,
Oh yeah.
50 of its games are just amazing JRPGs.
Well, and anything that comes out today, you look at some of the big ones that have come out recently. Legend of Heroes, I Am Setsuna. They all have that same look as the Super Nintendo JRPG.
And so I play Chrono Trigger, and then I'm like, all right, what's another really beloved RPG on the Super Nintendo? Oh, Final Fantasy 3/6, whatever you want to call it. And I go and I'm like, this kind of looks like a really crappy Chrono Trigger.
and it's very different vibe. No, finding something that's like Chrono Trigger.
I was,
gonna
well, it was
be
like,
tough.
Even like
That
the
isn't an
menu,
action
the
RPG.
menu font and everything
Yeah.
was like the same. And then I was
It's
like,
all the same.
it's got random encounters. Whereas what I love about Chrono Trigger is I can see what's on the
Yep.
map, so there's none of that. Just like, ugh, I'm walking and I'm just worried that I'm gonna take one step and get attacked again. That Pokemon in the grass feel constantly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just part of it is that I have a hard time focusing on story when I'm playing video games to begin with, because I'm constantly trying to multitask, and I always have TV addicts. So I always have TV shows on at the same time while I'm playing, so reading what's going on is hard. And then the actual gameplay isn't that much that I have to do most of the time. Like it doesn't really get strategic until later in when I have multiple
Very true. You can
spells
just
and
hit fight,
weakness.
fight, fight,
Exactly.
fight.
And so the beginnings are so long and drawn out and boring. I can't get into them. I can think of like 4 RPGs off the top of my head that I've tried to get into that I couldn't. Earthbound, I've tried. I really like it, like kind of, and then I'm just like, after a while, I get tired of it. I stop playing. The big one for me is Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, which is like, it's like a cheater. It made me think it was going to be like a Western RPG where I can hack and slash stuff at least.
And then,
But then really it's just like turn-based. I'm just running around while it's turn-based.
that their Final Fantasy 13 is very similar to that, and Final Fantasy 12 is very similar.
Somebody recommend me a JRPG so I can
That
not
would
like
be-
it. The closest one I came to,
I'm just gonna start throwing JRPGs.
the closest
at
one
you.
I came to liking on Super Nintendo other than Chrono Trigger was Secret of Mana.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, what I really liked about it is that it's 3-player cooperative.
It is.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can each you can play by yourself and control the characters individually, or you can all play as one of the characters, and it's a little more.
Which adds a really cool element.
It's a little bit more like a Western RPG
Mm-hmm.
wherein you are actually hitting things, but you're just doing like your damage is determined, sort of like a Destiny or like a Borderlands, where your gunshot bullets as you level up are worth more damage. It's sort of like that.
See.
right. It's got an RNG element to it, if I remember correctly. It's been a while.
I mean, I played for like 4 hours with one of my roommates and then got bored.
Well, since you mentioned one of my loves,
Yes.
I will mention one of your loves. I want to love Mega Man so much.
Ooh, how does that feel, Scott?
And here's the thing: growing up when I was young, for the NES, I rented Mega Man. Probably 2 and 3 are on the NES.
Yes, they are. 1 through 6 are all on the NES.
Okay,
2 and
I
3 are the
rented
classics.
2 and 3 probably very frequently. So much so. Here's a story. So much so that 8 years after I'd rented a Mega Man, the Blockbuster called my mom and said, "We're going through our records and we see that you have not returned Mega Man, whatever it was."
8
Do you know what was on the
8
cover?
years. And I said, there's no way I've had that game. Like, there's no way I would know if I had that game because I suck at that game.
Blockbuster was trying to squeeze you to stay alive.
I don't think. I did not understand that in the game you could pick different bosses.
Yes.
I thought you had to do them in a certain order. And to an extent you don't have to. No, I understand that.
I
But
don't have to.
if you're good enough. I never, when all my years renting it as a kid, never beat a single boss. It wasn't until you walked
goodness.
me through one.
I did. Mega Man 3.
Yeah, that you walked me through Mega Man 3 that I ever beat a boss. And I was how old? 20?
Yeah, we were in college at the time.
I'm terrible at that game. I love the look. I love the style. I love the story. It's very minimal, but I love it. I love Mega Man. I love the music. I love everything about it. But I am terrible at it. There's absolutely no skill for me in that game. I just awful. I could play Mario all day long, and I can beat Mario. Mega Man just eludes me.
It's like jumping and shooting.
I cannot beat it.
Exactly.
And now that I even know how to do it, I still can't do it. It's like I know how to swing a baseball bat, and maybe I'll sometimes connect, but no, I cannot win at Mega Man. I'm
It's just
awful.
so weird to me.
It's
as-
depressing.
It's like this opposite story where like I mean, the same in some way. I played it constantly as a kid, but like, it was the first video game I ever beat, and it's just like second nature to me. I don't have to think.
And
It's
I
so
watch
weird
you,
to
and I'm
me.
like, you know everything. It's easy for you, and it hurts me. It hurts me when I watch you play because it just makes me sad.
Scott's a Mega Man wizard.
Oh yeah.
It's
I just want to say that 2 of the stipulations to actually live in, because Scott and I lived together for 1
Yes.
year in college. The first one was I had to watch Firefly because I had never seen Firefly. Fantastic. The second one was I had to beat Mega Man 3.
Yeah, that's why we don't live together.
Yeah.
And
Because
I
I
beat Mega
can't.
Man 3, and
He
I
did.
feel
He's
so
watched me,
accomplished.
and I
that
can't.
was that your roommate tryout or something?
It really was.
the
It was.
roommate.
Can we live together? And so we just know it
I
can't
remember
happen.
making the joke that Sean was the chosen one, and that's why his name spelled out ANES, because he was meant to play on the NES.
Yes.
I wish I could love it. I played that N64 one occasionally
Mega
too.
Man Legends, Mega Man 64.
That's
Yeah.
a game that I want to
Good.
love that I hate.
That one's. Oh yeah, that
Sorry,
one's,
all the people who love the Legends.
No, it's
series.
bad.
It's might
It's-
as well be an RPG. I'm bored out of my mind.
It's
already.
bad.
I
Oh.
rented that one as a kid, as one of those N64 like.
Me too.
You're like, oh sweet 3D. This is gonna be the awesome 3D version of Mega
It's
Man.
boring.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm just like kicking I'm kicking cans. I'm fighting a robot with no health bar. I just have a helmet. What the hell's going
Yeah,
on
no,
right
it's
now?
Sean, what do you want to love but can't love?
I feel like I could be cliche and attack Kyle's favorite game,
Ooh.
but I don't want to. I want to do this just because I thought of this recently, and I'll kind of go in a completely different direction. Growing up, one of my favorite games that I played was the Guitar Hero series. I remember where I was when I first started Guitar Hero, Guitar Hero 2, 3.
It's just a defining moment in your life. He
I
saw
was-
it across the room.
I
and the
was-
lights shone. Dreamweaver.
I was pretty good. I remember there was certain songs I could play
Factual, he
backwards.
was pretty good.
I could play backwards.
Oh, yeah.
I could 5-star them, complete them, not looking at them. I had like all of Guitar Hero 3 except for like 5 songs, gold star. I love this game. And about 8 months ago, I was visiting Scott's house, and he was like, "Oh, I got Guitar Hero." I was like, "You do? Sweet. Let's pop it in. I haven't played that in like ages."
Pop that bad boy in.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's the new one, Guitar Hero Live." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you haven't seen this one yet?" I was like, "No. Like, what is it?" And I don't know how many people have actually seen and playing this because Guitar Hero kind of faded out after World Tour. Rock Band kind of was big as well. But Guitar Hero tried to rebrand themselves with literally rebranding and completely changing. I mean,
Not anything
The principle,
alike.
the
Yeah.
principle is the exact same. You're strumming and you're playing a guitar, but the keys and the buttons on the guitar itself are
Instead of being 5 buttons,
Five
single
buttons.
fret, it's now 6 buttons, 3 on 2 separate fret lines,
Weird.
and they're black and white are the only colors.
and you have to instead of playing them around, sometimes you have to play the first white and the 2 blacks and then switch.
Like-
and there's
like-
runs
like
up and
chords?
down.
Yeah, you have to
real
be like
chords.
real
It's like
chords,
real
like
guitar.
on the
Exactly.
fly.
Like 2-string
Basically-
chords.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like-
Basically, they're
but it's-
calling me a hack because I was like, "Oh, I can play 5 buttons. I can do this. Look at me going all
Yeah.
here." And now it's like, "Oh, you think you're hot shit? Oh, sorry, we have to beep that out. You think you're hot
It's
stuff?
fine.
You think you're hot stuff, man? Let's see this." And then I couldn't I could not even play on normal. Like, you can't fail in this game, and I could not play on normal. Like, there is a no fail mode. You just play until the end of the song.
They just get angry looking at you. the
Exactly. You
crowd.
get the crowd boos. Your screen's red, but you're still going.
Yeah.
I gave the guitar to Scott. I could not finish. Like,
Jeepers.
I want to love this game because I grew up loving all of the Guitar Heroes. Like,
Yeah.
I would go in a heartbeat and play Guitar Hero 3 and play Through the Fire and the Flames. But I can't get behind this. I mean, it's Guitar Hero. It's the same brand, but my mind can't do it.
It
That's the
is
reason
a
I wasn't a
nightmare.
guitar player.
It really because I liked Guitar Hero but I grew up playing guitar.
I know, exactly.
And so it was really different. Like you're making chords but you're only using one button, and so it was always weird for me. But I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Same with Rock Band, and so, I enjoyed them.
I would
But
imagine drums and rock.
The
band
drums
would
were
be-
definitely more fun on Rock Band.
I always felt like that was,
and they were
it was much
fairly
more realistic.
They were fairly realistic,
I could
which was
never
really
do the
cool.
drums.
You can't play real drums then.
No,
Welcome to my club.
feet
Yeah.
are so uncoordinated. I could not do the pedal. Is bad.
No, and that's why I liked it is I could pick up the drums in Rock Band and usually play about on hard because I I knew
Because
how to
you
play
play
the
drums,
drums.
yeah.
It was pretty easy.
That's like when I
and
give
that's cool.
Chris rats about a Guitar Hero controller, guy who wrote the Metal Destiny Cops theme. He doesn't understand the
No.
mechanics at all, but if he doesn't look at the screen, and
He can
just
probably make it
plays-
up.
If he just plays how he thinks it should be, because he
probably
knows the
pretty
real
close.
Yeah, I watched him get like halfway through a Metallica song without looking at it because it was just easier for him to just
Because
think
he
this
knows
is
how to
probably
play
what
the
they
song
do.
on a real
Good.
guitar.
I
He's
did
a
not know that it
virtuoso.
ever happened.
Yes.
That is just for people who don't know who Chris Ratsbout
That's
is.
perfect.
Like he
It's
said, who wrote our
amazing.
He's a
song.
musician.
virtuoso
Yes.
of music. Yeah.
That perfectly describes Chris Ratsbout.
Yeah, but no, the jump to Guitar Hero Live, it's like learning to read in a new language, but it's like in a mirror, the mirror version of
It
your
doesn't
own
sound
language.
fun.
No, I mean,
It is when you get it, you start to get it, and you're like, okay, it's as fun as normal Guitar Hero. Although you feel a little bit more accomplished when you actually pull off like bar chords where you're hitting this one.
Right.
It's harder to read because it doesn't have the bright, vibrant colors separating it.
But at this point,
And
why not just get Rocksmith, where you
Exactly.
can actually play guitar?
like, and I think
that game's impossible.
I think that's where Guitar Hero kind of tried to reach out too far. Like they were 5 buttons, 5 colors, and classic rock songs, and now they're trying to be Rocksmith. They're trying to I don't know. I guess it kind of fade out, and I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
like if DDR added like hand pads that you had to hit to
Hand-
be more like
good.
realistic dancing.
But that if you have hand pads, I mean you can't
hold the
the
bar.
bar
You can't hold
behind
the bar.
you.
Real
Exactly.
players hold the bar.
Well,
Real
booty
players
bump,
hold the
there's
bar.
a booty bump for the bar, button. Where
Yeah,
you
you have to
twerk on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. That's
That's a
fun.
game.
Some
That's a
hip-hop.
game I
Please
want.
make that
Someone
game.
make that happen.
Twerk revolution.
Twerk Revolution.
Revolution.
I will play that game nonstop until my butt muscles are
yeah.
just bulging
Gonna
through
iron
my
and
pants.
Pierce.
steel.
Yes. Sean already has that. It's fine.
It's fine.
Fantastic. All right, I think it's time. We move on to
It's
the main
time.
event, the main debate.
The debate.
Um,
Someone give me one of those Not Your Father's root beers, alright? Not. This is a different brand, not name brand.
not name brand.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Not Your Father's. Beer.
We're not actually affiliated with.
Wait,
them.
so
Don't
we're
sue us.
not sponsored by your father's root beer?
No, yeah.
Exactly.
We're not.
I'm
your
really
father's
confused about
This is a
sponsored
proactive
root beer.
sponsorship. I'm just saying it in case they want to send us money afterwards.
Or send us not your father's root beer.
Although I'm positive anyone listening to this is not old enough to drink. Isn't one of our
Very
friends?
true.
I posed this question in one of our group chats, and I liked it so much that I said it's going to be part of the podcast because that's the power I have. Best movie
The only
villain.
control you have in
The
your
only
life.
control I have of my life is this table right here and these 4 microphones and what's written on this piece of paper.
Yes.
And occasionally what toys we put up. Best movie villain of all time. We're specifying. I think in the weeks later we are going to
We will probably talk about TV shows.
TV shows.
or
We're
video
going to
games.
try to have a good debate at the end, and
Yeah.
and hopefully tonight we can have that. I think a healthy, arousing debate.
Ooh.
Yeah. Best movie villain of all time. Who wants to start?
Who's doing their opening statements first?
My
Anyone?
opening
All right,
statement
Go.
is not an opening statement.
Oh.
For my movie villain,
Please don't
does
tell me
not
it's a
need-
question again.
No, it's not a question.
What?
Who is
what do you
defining
think of?
of
What do you
this
think?
Fine.
Perhaps.
You go.
Perhaps.
It could
No.
be.
My movie villain does not need a name. He only needs a song.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Bottom. Bottom.
Really?
Dun,
John.
Interesting.
Interesting.
The greatest
I thought he
movie
was the good
villain
guy.
of all
Dun, dun,
time.
dun, dun.
Richard Dreyfuss is the bad guy in that movie.
I mean, think about it. What movie villain has a song attributed to him?
Don't seem to be living at all.
So-
Darth Vader?
Like a doll's eyes.
Like a dog's eyes.
I guess Darth Vader has a.
Okay, would you get to your
no.
get
He's saying,
Jaws?
Are we just saying who we picked first? Or
Sure.
Is that it? You're saying
Yeah,
Jaws?
let's say I don't know.
All right, he's just saying who we picked. Well, Sean, who'd you pick?
Well, I mean, I was gonna play my bad guys theme song just to
Oh,
for.
okay.
I mean, I guess I could pull that up real quick.
I'll let him pull it up. I can already tell what
Are we
it is,
gonna
I
get
think,
taken down
just
for
by-
copyrighted?
Yeah,
probably.
we're gonna get taken down. So just
So I also ventured into the realm of animals for my bill. However, mine is sentient. It is aware of what it's doing. It's not operating on instinct.
Hey, sharks.
It
some
is.
say
It is Jeremy Irons himself, Scar from The Lion King.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Oh
Okay.
yes.
Ooh.
But that's it. We're just doing who it is first, so we'll wait.
I'm waiting
We'll
for
wait Sean to
so we
play
can
his. I know
break
who it is.
copyright.
One that he would only know because of me, I feel. Ooh.
Again, I thought he was the good guy of the piece.
Oh. Okay, for the
Michael
people-
Myers.
Yes, for those who don't recognize.
Man, you guys. Okay, so you guys are
Michael
going with one.
Myers.
That,
Michael Myers
loves
from the
moths, I could tell.
1977 film Halloween.
I think
Was it
I think
77?
Rob Zombie's
Or was it
remake would be
76? I can't remember what it was.
applicable here.
Applicable? You're going with the Rob Zombie.
No, I'm gonna go with Michael Myers. My Rob.
the little kid
The
version.
little
of
kid
Michael
version is
Myers.
twisted. Come on.
He is messed up.
Okay, so you guys went with some fairly well-known ones. I have to go with the
Yeah.
one that truly terrifies me. Woo Jin Lee from Old Boy.
Of course.
Of course.
Sorry, I'm gonna
course.
be a little snobby here and go
Super snobby to pick movies that were remade from Japanese movies.
Korean.
Super snob cup.
Korean.
Korean.
Get out of here.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
But yeah, Woo Jin Lee
North
from
Korea.
Old Boy.
or South
Well, you
Korea?
kick it off then. Tell us
Yeah,
about.
tell
Wu
us
Jin
about-
Lee.
You want me to start?
Woo
Oh,
Jin
yeah.
Lee.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows what yours is, so we
So
have
I
no
guess
choice
I
but for
have
you
to
describe it.
describe him, and you guys have to then see if any of yours can fit the mold of what Woo
Any
Jin
of
sets.
Scar's pretty bad.
Scar.
Oh man! All right. Woo Jin kidnaps a man and keeps him locked up for 10 years. Steals him from his family, just keeps him locked up. Some form of, I don't want to give too much away, but some form of punishment, some form of revenge, but also to a point it's a game for Woo Jin Lee. Once he releases this man, he gives him nothing other than a little bit of direction. Go and find this person. Go and do this. And he
No
kind-
Man's Sky, the movie.
he plays the puppet master to the puppet, and he guides him through. He sends him into this gang. He makes him meet up with this beautiful young woman. This beautiful young woman who our main character falls in love with. This beautiful young woman who our main character has relations with.
Consensual adult activities.
This beautiful woman who also happens to be unknown to our main character, his daughter. And then when our main character finally meets up with Woo Jin Lee, who has tortured him, kidnapped him, adult-napped him,
Depends on
held
how
him
old-
hostage,
Abducted.
Shouldn't it be-
Abducted.
Abducted.
Shouldn't it be kidnapped?
kidnapped.
You're nabbing.
You're nabbing.
Yeah.
You're not napping.
Kidnapping.
I
Adult
think-
nabbing.
all right.
He adult nabs him.
We'll write to someone.
Right to Oxford English Dictionary.
I would assume
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And when it's all said and done, why Woo Jin? Why would you do this? It's, well, not only have you now had an incestuous relationship, but my insanity goes back to my own incestuous relationship that has marred me for life, that I now have to take out on you and make you my puppet and slave forever.
What is the relationship between the main character and Woo Jin?
Not a whole lot. It was pretty random. It was
All right.
now it's been a while since I've seen Old Boy, and I feel like they connected it more in like a you wronged me in some kind of way, but really he just picked the main character as
All right. Well then, if that's the connection your villain has, let's talk about what makes a great villain right now.
What
Right.
makes a great?
A great
What
villain
makes
has a strong connection to our hero.
Our protagonist.
They have a strong presence, and they stand in opposition to what our protagonist wants. They have a great. There's a strong connection between the two. Our hero wants this. We want him to get this. Our villain is stopping him, and we hate him. And who's a great example of a villain like that? Scar. And what is so great about Scar is he's a villain that all ages can connect with and hate. You hate him from when you're 2 till you're 98. All right? When you're knocking on death's door, you're still going to be like, Scar was a real piece of shit. Beep.
Nice.
But let's consider. All right, so this guy from Old Boy, Woo Jin Lee, he does some bad things.
He's pretty weird.
Let's talk about what Scar does. All right, he murders our main character's father in front of him. he tries to frame our main character for the murder, sending him off into exile for his entire childhood to be raised by 2 idiot man children, where he eats a starvation diet of bugs. That is not healthy for a lion. All right. We can only, he bleeds the land dry when he takes over as ruler. He's a tyrant who destroys a perfect civilization. And we can assume that he is doing some non-consensual adult activities with our main character's mother.
We can assume. We can
make
poor
that
innocent
leap.
childhood
Ruined.
taken away from that by that
Yeah.
statement right
All
there.
right. That's all right. And Scar is so malicious and evil toward a child. This is an innocent child who's done nothing to him, and he has no caring. He's no empathy for his blood relation. All right. He is somebody that our hero trusts implicitly, and he just, nope, get out of here.
See, and that's one of the reasons I. Well, are we? We're not rebutting at this point.
No,
not
okay.
really. No.
All right.
I'm just giving the reasons why I think
right.
Scar is great.
Sean?
I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, so Scott's got this connection. I feel like, unless I haven't diagnosed Halloween enough, that there is really no tangible connection.
In the first,
In the first film.
in the first film, it's
film.
designed specifically to have no connection.
Right. So and that's the one where I draw this from.
Yes.
Where you have a bad guy that for no reason just shows up and just terrorizes. You have your protagonists, which really I guess are just the people, the directors are like, hey, these are the people you're going to watch this show. And you are invested in their lives, and I guess you want them to do good, kind of like Simba.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But then you have
Laurie
this-
Strode to do well.
You have this mysterious, at first, creature, man, that comes into the story
terrifying.
that just shows up at all these weird locations, and you really kind of resent him, and you have no reason why you're trying to do this, and why is he terrorizing these people and basically causing their lives to be miserable. So you get on the side of the protagonist, but for no reason that this guy is terrorizing innocent people. Like Simba, I guess, Scar had something to gain. He wanted to be Simba in that sense. Mike Myers is just a psycho that has, for all that I know, no tangible reason for terrorizing and trying to eventually murder family and friends of the
Yes.
lead characters.
He's just misunderstood.
Exactly. I continue to misunderstand him, but forever when I hear that song,
It's a terrifying song.
immediately
It's so simple.
I have rebuttals, but I have to wait. So
All
I
right.
don't wanna say
there's
that.
nothing you can do because you can look, you can try to find him, but you will never see him. But he's
Could be in this room right now. and we
He's
wouldn't even know.
and we would not know. But
That
he is
door opened up and he walked. I would scream right now. Lose it.
I'd jump out the
and
window.
that's the mystique, the misery that is Mike Myers, because you never know where he is.
All right.
And he's always around.
Exactly.
Now, tell us about your fish.
So, Jaws
Big toothy grin.
is a shark. That's all I need to say, really.
All right, can I jump in there?
I am
Jaws
legitimately
is
afraid of
a
sharks,
shark.
and I don't find Jaws scary at all.
Well, I do find Jaws very scary, but
Jaws, I mean, do you think of animal predator versus prey? That's the relationship. Jaws is hungry for meat. And humans swimming around their beaches, Jaws comes out, nabs them. They try to get him on a boat. Nope, they got to get a bigger boat.
That's the scariest
Jaws.
part of that movie.
yes,
Gonna need a bigger
he's a
boat.
hero to boat salesmen.
He really is.
He's a hero.
That line.
Salesman.
That line comes from that movie, and I think it's sold a lot of
Bigger boats.
watercraft.
Yeah.
But I mean, sharks are awesome. They're the best animals in the animal kingdom.
True.
I mean, seriously, what other animal has its own week? No other animal, no other
Nope.
villain has its own week. Jaws has its own week.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Can we rebut now?
Yeah, sure.
can be the
Okay.
butt. You can be a
try
butt.
Here's
against
the problem I
Jaws.
have with both of your choices. Both of your choices are terrifying. They're way scarier than
scary.
either of our choices, but
Yeah.
they're not villains.
Ours are
they're
very sinister.
scary,
I guess
but
that's
they
true.
don't, without a connection to our protagonist, without a real reason to be doing what they're doing, other than they're just murdering. That's terrifying to me
nature.
as a person.
It's nature
but
for
that's
them.
just nature.
Yeah,
a villain
sharks are nature.
has
I don't
some
find
sort of
mosquitoes
insidious plot. to me.
terrifying.
I mean,
but
that's
villain-
that's what you would like to
A
think.
villain in a film, what makes a great villain is a villain who is captivating.
Yeah.
All right. Neither of your two things are captivating.
Jaws
They're
is
just
an
scary.
icon, a cultural icon.
An icon he may be.
If you could think of a poster of all the movie villains that have ever been, and they're all together on one poster, underneath that poster would be Jaws coming
Jaws.
up to grab them.
To eat them all.
And your definition of villain is, it's a personal preference because
I think it's
Webster's
just a-
dictionary says that a villain is whose evil actions kind of drive the plot. Bad actions drive the
But
plot.
I'm not convinced that Jaws' actions are evil and not just predatory instinct. They're evil
what's
by
not
human
evil
morals,
about
but not by
not by his
animal
own standards. He's not aware
predation.
of his own evil.
But that makes a great villain when
But I
they're
think
not
what's
aware,
great-
when they think they
No,
are
no.
doing something that's good.
He
when
doesn't think
we
he's
define
not
evil.
aware of what he's doing is good or bad. Scar knows the difference between good and evil, and he chooses evil. He chooses to team with beings that are known evils, not his own kind, to turn on his people who trust him.
Why does Scar want to be king?
Because he seeks power.
Is that it's
Yeah, he's jealous.
He is
He's
a-
jealous of our hero. He wants the hero's power. He wants control. He's tired of being in the shadow, so he rises up.
but it's not a good intent thing.
No.
Like I can run it better. You're
No,
managing
no.
this
And
wrong.
that's why he's.
I
that's
think
what's great
you're
about him.
right. That makes him a little more villainous.
Yes.
I would tend to agree.
If sharks had legs, they would eat lions. That's my closing
Didn't
statement.
they used to do a show that was like animals versus
Yeah.
bears
I think so.
versus
I think I remember
lions
that,
and things
yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
I would like to watch the sharks.
And they would
versus lions.
somehow come up with a way to even
I
them
have no-
out.
Yeah, they
Like-
did it. It was the same as like that Ultimate Warrior one, where
Right.
They just like test out like
Yeah.
they make fake jaws.
So it'd be like I
shark
think it was
jaws.
shark.
Yeah.
I feel like it was shark versus bear is one they did because a bear can be in deep enough water that a shark could swim in it, and so that made it even apparently.
That's totally fair.
And just to hop in as a fact checker here for Kyle, Webster's definition of a villain: a character in a story, movie,
Character.
etc., who does bad things.
Okay.
Jaws eats people.
But he's not a character.
He is not. He is
He doesn't
a
have a
fish.
personality.
Michael
Yeah, he
Myers,
cares.
on the
Some
other
would
hand,
say
does-
that
Michael
all
Myers
sharks-
is just
Very
the
bad.
embodiment
He's the
of
opposite
death.
of personality.
He has no personality. His mask is literally a bleached
what it
face.
represents.
Take the time to talk to Jaws. No, you didn't. You didn't care. He was a shark eating people.
He
we
was.
gotta kill him. you know?
Exactly. Well, I'm just saying, the movie, in order to present him as a captivating villain, needs to show me Jaws' intent. There's no intent, so he's not a villain to me.
The intent,
He's just a monster.
Everyone knows a shark's intent. It's to eat
Eat
people. And
people.
That's not a
make-
very
be
captivating
a human
story.
Shredder.
Now, Yi Zhang Herbedek is at least,
Wu Jinli.
Wu
is
Jing
at
Lily.
least he has a plot. He's the
Oh,
only
he
other
does.
one that I even think
But
counts as a
what's
villain.
his purpose?
I think yours counts as a villain.
Yeah, I'm saying mine and yours are the only villains. These two just picked monsters. Monsters aren't
they're
villains.
Well,
Monster
what's
villains.
Wu Jinli's what's his end game? Why did he
His
capture
drive
him?
is to
Why?
mess with people.
It seems
truly
that,
is to be
that he is
a
he's
crazy
trying to
puppet
share
master.
his pain with the world. Is
Yeah,
sort of what I.
and he's going to make other people feel
He's essentially
the
like the
perversions that he's felt, and the way he delivers it is extremely dark. And part of me wishes I would have picked something more well known.
The fact
but
that nobody-
he's the first one that comes.
The fact that nobody picked like the Joker, like Heath Ledger's Joker, is insane to me because it's essentially the same sort of motivation.
It's very
that he
similar.
has going on, where it's just
And-
I just want to make other people. I want to prove other people are messed up like
Yeah.
me, dark like me.
I would
Joker is
say
a-
well, and all my backups just didn't cut it because he was one of the first ones that popped into my mind, and I feel like everyone should see Old Boy because it is a very well done movie, but it's his.
Tyler
his-
has really messed up movie taste. Don't believe him.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's true. But Scar
Can you
is
argue
is
with a
so,
villain that has all of us remember and hate from our childhood?
but he's so
Fact.
cliche.
we all
Fact.
He's
know.
so cliche.
I guess if anybody else had picked a villain with a more nefarious plot, you could argue that cliche doesn't matter. But a shark is as cliche as shit. Alright. And the random murder guy is
I'll make
nothing.
an argument.
The
I'll make a
random
different
psycho
argument
murder.
because let's say shark is number one. Let's talk about number two on the list.
So sure.
Let's talk about number two on the
Okay,
list.
okay.
The Joker. You brought
Okay,
that
yeah.
up.
I mean,
I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker.
He's
in the
not,
Dark
but
Knight.
he's not. You can't just start arguing a
We're-
person you
let's
didn't
not-
pick. We have these 4 to argue now.
Huh? I know, but you want a different argument.
Well, it's too late. You picked your
Okay,
shark.
I picked Jaws. I want to talk about. I want to talk about Heath Ledger Joker.
That would have been a great choice. You really should have gone with
You want to
that.
know my? I
friggin'
think we should all
Jaws,
give our
man.
backups at some point because mine
right.
was Hannibal Lecter.
that's actually I thought about doing
That's a
that
really good choice.
just
It
because
was.
there's a
Because-
microphone right here.
When it comes to like horror-esque villains, at least that one has a personality and is an
Well, and he's
antagonist,
smarter than
truly.
everyone
Yes,
ever. I
he's
mean,
a
just-
true villain.
Yeah,
to me.
but I will say that I might have to save him for TV show villain just because I think that Hannibal Lecter is
yes.
much better than the movie.
Whoa,
Hannibal
you're
Lecter.
going better than Anthony Hopkins.
That-
I think-
Sir Anthony
Sir.
Hopkins.
Mads Mikkelsen is an amazing actor, and I just love him in everything that he does, pretty
enough.
much.
Fair
But that's not the point here.
No, the point
Um,
is that Scar's the best movie villain. We all agree.
But
No, we
Husky Radio.
I think
thank you
so.
for seeing us this week. Goodbye.
I think all of us who had the Joker in mind when we're thinking about this, like,
Thought you were gonna pick it.
well, I mean,
No, never.
I mean,
Never. 'Cause I don't even
immediately-
have a backup because Scar's the clear answer.
I mean, immediately when this topic was pitched to me, like I was thinking, I mean, like, boom, I went right to the Joker. Like, I don't know if that's just because of the movie, it's because of how well he played it. I almost like was endeared to the Joker just because of how much I loved that movie and how much he rocked that part. And I mean, yes, he was rocking the part of a villain, making people's lives miserable, but like,
when we were talking about Suicide Squad and how what
Yeah.
that did wrong with the Joker, we like the Joker because his motives are unclear and he's crazy out the bat from on every perspective. You don't know what he's going to do next. The Dark Knight
he's about
really
chaos.
portrayed that. It portrayed his motives for chaos. You think you have the background thought in this whole movie. Okay, he's looking for power. He's looking for money. Well, near the end of the movie, he burns the giant pile of money and says
Yes.
it's not for money. It's about chaos.
And you see
Right.
that movie's a perfect embodiment of what I was saying about a great villain having to have an antithesis to our protagonist. Because even at a fundamental level, when you look at Batman, bats are something that you would traditionally say is scary. Clowns are something that are supposed to be happy. So what do
Well,
they do?
but
They
they're
flip
really
it.
scary.
They make the good guy the thing that should be dark and creepy and scary, and they make the bright, happy thing the bad guy. And we have Batman, who's all about trying to bring order and just bring good back to Gotham, and the Joker, who is just nothing but chaos and pure just evil and hate. And they stand so perfectly as opposites in every way against each other and everything they want, and equal powers fighting. That's what makes the Joker such a captivating villain.
And why didn't you pick him?
And
Yeah,
that's
why
why,
didn't you
that
pick-
is
Because-
why I didn't pick
So-
him.
Because like Scar is that to Simba, only he connects to every generation.
But Scar isn't good. Like he isn't. He becomes the bad guy, but then he kills everything in the land.
Ultimately,
Like,
if the
he was
Joker
a-
had power, that's probably
He's
what
a-
happened.
But that's what I'm
Scar's
saying
a-
is like-
Scar's a cartoon villain.
Scar's a cartoon villain.
But
has
he's a
an
cartoon that
end
can
game.
How much
connect.
can you ask?
A cartoon connects to adults as well. Like that. That's what is powerful about Scar to me. Why I choose him as
It only
the
connects
overall.
to adults because it's Hamlet.
If
That's it.
Are you saying that Shakespeare's not a great writer, Tyler?
I am. I'm saying Disney is cliche.
Are we doing
I'm saying
overrated,
Disney
underrated?
is
here?
cliche.
Well,
Fantastic.
if it's the ultimate, if it's the ultimate incarnation of a great story, then I don't see what's wrong with that.
Well, so Scar has an end game.
Because
He wants
Claudius isn't
power.
that bad of a guy.
The Joker has no. I mean, he doesn't want power. He wants there to be no power.
He really just only. Well, that's kind of why he's the opposite of Batman. He just wants the opposite. Whatever Batman wants, Joker just wants the opposite of it, and that's what's great about him. But Simba
Which
wants
makes him
to
really
be a
easy
great,
to defeat.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Joker. I want chaos.
I want you to not punch yourself in the face. Damn it! You think you can get me?
That would be a good movie. I'd watch
I
that.
would watch that one.
Joker.
I don't know
I
why
do
I
not
didn't
want
pick.
an
I
ice
didn't
cream
pick
sundae.
the Joker. I honestly expected someone else to pick the Joker. I
He
just
was-
thought it would be much easier if I picked something.
thought
I
else.
know.
about
I
picking
thought
the
about it, and I
Joker,
just thought it'd
but-
be too easy.
I mean, when you think about humanity, the
Oh.
struggle.
Come on.
The struggle.
The shark is
man.
out.
of life.
Forget about it.
No. You think it's out because of your ridiculous standards for villains. But here's the thing: the struggle, life versus death, humanity? How do we deal with death?
Okay, I'm picking King Kong then.
And Jaws.
If Jaws is in the running, I'm
Jaws
picking King
is
Kong.
death embodied.
I pick
fish.
the asteroid from Armageddon because it has as much personality and intent
no.
as Jaws.
I am picking the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Which
Misunderstood.
one? Jurassic Park 2, The Lost
was a good
World?
guy.
Because that's the
No.
best.
See, all these things
Part.
you're joking.
The first
but
one, the
Jaws
T-Rex
is
saves
an
them in the end.
icon. You know, he's got the theme song. He's the shark.
Bugs Bunny is an
He's the
icon,
reason.
but it doesn't
Well,
make
He
him
also
look
has a
like-
theme song.
But he's not a villain.
Neither is Jaws.
Jaws is just misunderstood.
But really, I mean, if we had to go with Joker being number one, because obviously a Joker, Heath Ledger Joker is probably number two at least, up next to Jaws.
Next to Scar.
Next to Jaws.
Then we'd have to pick Joker. But you know.
I think that's an interesting thing that we can all kind of agree that the Joker is one of the greatest
great.
villains of all time, but none of us picked him because we all thought
Well,
someone else would pick him.
I think also
that's,
too.
That's
one of
surprising.
One of the reasons I didn't pick him too is because he's a villain that sort of just transcends just movies.
That's true, and he's a villain in the comics.
Yeah.
He's a villain
He's
in
been
all
a villain
movies.
for like 60 years. And
Right.
He has so much built up behind him that.
And to say
he
that
is-
one,
Yeah, he's a one
Oh, yeah.
iteration can't
Yeah.
be like the definitive one to me.
but ultimate villain of all time,
He's definitely in
Potentially.
the running if
That's
we did
definitely-
overall.
Potentially.
everything. Yes,
if we're talking fictional.
of course. Yeah, let's talk about real villains.
Real life
Real
villains?
villain.
Sean Meehan.
So Jaws.
Jaws.
Real sharks. That's what it is, guys.
Sharks are the
In
villains.
real life, I'm much more scared of real sharks than of Scar. So
Yes,
cartoons.
Lions just lay in the sun. You can.
Disney does have
Avoid
some.
them.
I had a fair amount of
Disney
Disney,
does a great
villains
job
listed.
because they dumb it down enough for kids to understand, but keep it
They're
sophisticated
universal
enough that
villains.
it's still
You know,
Frollo
what
was
terrified
one
me?
that
It's
was
not
on
a
my
Disney
list.
movie, but it's a cartoon that terrified me when I was a kid. The villain from Anastasia. You know what I'm talking about?
what's his
Yep.
name?
Yeah.
Is it
Rasputin.
Rasputin.
Man,
Rasputin.
that
See?
dude, he was like his bones
Fictional
are falling
and
apart.
nonfiction.
He falls in all
he's,
categories.
He's a villain
he
in
was
all
terrifying.
He is a-
categories.
he
He is
transcends.
creepy. Yes.
What a creepy guy.
Oh,
Is
so
that- are we done with our conversation about villains?
I think we have run out of things to talk about. Thank you for joining Husky Radio
Thank
for
you.
podcast number 5. Yeah, maybe we can do another Nights one
I
again.
think we should.
We'll see.
I like the night's vibe.
Let
A
us
couple
know who you
drinks get
vibe.
smooth.
let us know who you think is your all-time villain. What you think about No Man's Sky. If you're playing Obduction, don't spoil anything, or
Don't
I will
spoil it.
find
Tell
you.
us what game
Are
you
you
hate
playing-
that you want to love.
Are you
Tell us
playing
what
with
game
someone
you
in the
hate
room?
that you
Get
wish you could
Obduction
love.
so that Kyle can play the next one like 5 years from now. Be
Yes.
like, guys, fart spelled wrong is coming out.
FYRT.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See ya.
Jesus.